you say the Cincinnati Bengals have the best shot at getting to the Super Bowl this season. You talk about the offensive weapons that we already know they have. They are of plenty. But the moves they've made on the defensive side of the ball, starting with Dexter Lawrence, and then bring over other veterans that won Super Bowls in their past to help beef up this defense. This is going to be the best defense Burrow has had since he went to the Super Bowl back in 2021.
Jeff Darlington, you look perplexed.
What's up, Jeff?
I don't even know what to say. I mean, I respect everything you ever say except for maybe this. There's nothing. What are we talking about? The Bengals have done nothing to show that they are anywhere near. I don't even know if we can say that they're going to win the division, let alone contend for a Super Bowl. Or is this the time of year where we just forget about Patrick Mahomes again? I get it, the knee, the whole deal. Yeah. Is this really the time of year that we're going to do that and pretend that Patrick Mahomes is not in the NFL?
They got sexy. Patrick Mahomes is still banged up, and the Bengals, Domonique Foxworth, are the only team in the AFC North who's bringing back their head coach. Yeah. Every other team is in a state of flux.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure that that's always a positive. Like, I think that there's some questions whether that was a good idea or not. I think Jesse Minter is a good addition to the Ravens, and by saying of the elite quarterbacks, that makes a real small crop. I think you could say the same thing about the Bills up there. They have a kind of new coach and additions to improve their defense. I'm not sure what the distinction you're making between the Bills and the Bengals, why you wouldn't say the Bills have just as good of a shot. They had a bad defense last year. They're making improvements. And then is the Ravens, who are always good when Lamar is healthy. And actually, Lamar's been healthier than Joe Burrow. So I think it's a hot take. It's an interesting take, but I don't know if I like it.
All right, I'm not here for the slander. I'm all in behind my man, J-Mac. All right, give me the third one.
I'm looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and there's so much conversation around Aaron Rodgers. And should the Steelers just be moving on? I think they're making the right decision at this point to wait for Aaron Rodgers. If they were going to move on, it would have had already to happen because there aren't any other free agent quarterbacks that they're going to be able to sign. So at this point, wait and see if you can bring Rodgers in because regardless if he plays or not, he makes their quarterback room better.
All right, I want to get to the sound on this one because this is the one that gets a little more interesting, I think, today. So the Steelers owner, Art Rooney, was asked about the team's very unusual decision to put the unrestricted free agent tender on Aaron Rodgers. I want you to listen closely to what he said.
The main thing that the tender gives us is potential for a comp pick. If Aaron would choose to go to another team, we don't expect that. But by the same token, you never know. We've been in contact with Aaron on a regular basis. He's been keeping us up to date on his plans. And, even though I thought it probably would have been concluded by now, I think we will come to a conclusion here in the next few weeks.
Okay, so here's my friend Teddy Bruschi always says, NFL teams lie to you all the time.
Yeah.
Every now and again, they're forced to tell you the truth with their actions. And so the Steelers putting a tender that candidly, it took me like 20 minutes to figure out exactly what it means and what it does. It only benefits them in the event that Aaron Rodgers signs somewhere else, which suggests the only reason they do it is if they think there is actually a chance Aaron Rodgers signs
But there's no downside,
else.
Greeny.
What's that?
It doesn't cost them anything.
It doesn't cost them anything.
So why not? You may think you're impressing Aaron by extending and saying, okay, look, here's how much we want you. We're willing to do this nebulous, ridiculous thing.
No, it doesn't cost them anything.
It doesn't cost them anything.
But it also doesn't benefit them, except for in the case that he winds up signing somewhere else.
And it makes you think, you look at Rodgers right now, where he is in his career. If you're going to come back and play, you're hoping to contend for a Super Bowl. If he comes back to the Pittsburgh Steelers, are they contending for a Super Bowl? I would say no. So do they think potentially he's waiting for something to happen in training camp where he could sign with maybe a contender and help them get over the top?
I'm raising my hand. Hey, Domonique Foxworth, are you aware that Bo Nix had a second procedure on his ankle last week? If we wanted to engage in just reckless and pointless speculation, now let me take out the pointless, reckless and pointed speculation, Bo Nix had a second procedure on his ankle last week. Rodgers of the Broncos were connected in conversations. We talked about him maybe going there before he wound up going to the Jets. Who knows how different history would have looked. I'm just saying, if there's if the Steelers are if the Steelers are making an action that suggests there's at least some chance he signs somewhere else. It behooves us to think about where that somewhere else might be. Where might they need a quarterback? And maybe Denver, through this circumstance, finds themselves there. What do you think of the whole thing, Neek?
Yeah, I mean, and Sean Payton and Bo Nix seem to have a little bit of friction towards the end of the season. It's a big leap for them to do that, to have a young, promising quarterback that they seem to like. But if there's some reason to believe that he won't be healthy, then you consider all options. I still think that that's particularly a long shot, but I do think the tender suggests that the Steelers are not sure. Like, they are not sure. And to your point about the actions, they drafted Drew Aller. I know they didn't take him in the first round, but adding another young quarterback to that room and more actions that suggest that their future is uncertain.
Yeah, very quick final word. Maybe make it clear. I'm not saying he's going to Denver. Please don't say Mike Greenberg thinks that he's. I don't think he's going to Denver. I'm just trying to throw situations out there that would seem like a possibility. Jeff, go. Final word.
It opens the door to that kind of speculation. I get it. But the one thing I'd point out, the real speculation here is this suggests a lack of trust and a lack of communication if they don't know for certain that Aaron Rodgers is not going to sign with another team.
Seemed worth mentioning on the ice last night. Now to the NFL and a feature we call Holding McCourt with our guy Jason McCourty. J-Mac, we gave you a homework assignment. We said you got to put together 3 big takes for us coming off the draft. Give me number 1.
Wilbon is going to like this one. In the NFC East, I'm going to say the Giants are going to be division contenders come December. This is a team that is still growing, still getting better. But you look at what Harbaugh's done this entire offseason, the players they drafted, the free agents that they brought in, even how he handled what happened between Arvell Reese getting drafted and his superstar Malik Neighbors. Everything is pointing in the right direction for the New York Giants. I think they turned this thing around, a team that lost a lot of close games last season.
You know, someone said, that's right, it was me, that maybe the Giants could be next year's Patriots. Bring in a veteran coach who knows how to win, second-year quarterback taking a big jump, add a bunch of pieces, and you never know. You like him a lot. You said it earlier this morning.
I do. I think the quarterback situation is overstated, though.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, you got to stay out of the blue tent, which he doesn't seem to be able to do.
Yeah.
And I hope he does stay out of the blue tent. But that seems to be a bit overstated. That's the one area where I go, okay, wait a minute. I like you talk about the other pieces.
Yeah.
I love that. Obviously, the coach. What is the quarterback's situation going to be when we talk about this November 1st?
Yeah.
Where is he going to be in that evolution?
Is he healthy? Because, I mean, you know, Drake may look good as a rookie, but really took that huge step forward in his second year. Neek, you buying it?
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's interesting because Drake May had a little bit of the same trouble of putting himself in dangerous situations. So there's hope that I think that can be recovered from. The other question is still about injuries. It's about Malik Neighbors staying healthy, Cam Scatterbo staying healthy. They certainly have all the pieces and an experienced coach that's been one of the most stable coaches in football for a while. So I think the expectation is that they do improve and compete in the NFC East.
I'm going to get to the next one. I'll get Jeff in on that one. Joe, what's the next big take